is my presentation for the case study. Today I'll be presenting a case study titled Pay for Delay, Androgel Voice Competition. This case explores how a major pharmaceutical company, Solvay, used legal settlements to delay the release of a cheaper generic version of its top-selling drug named Androgel. We'll also look at the role of the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, and how this case became a major issue in pharmaceutical regulation and antitrust law. Just a quick case overview. Let's start with a brief overview. Solvay Pharmaceuticals developed and marketed Androgel. It's a testosterone gel for men with low testosterone. When generic drug makers, Watson and Paddock, these are the other two companies that we're going to be talking about today, when they tried to launch a cheaper version, Solvay sued them for patent infringement. Instead of waiting for a court decision, Solvay settled by paying them to delay launching the generic brands basically until 2015. The FTC saw this as an anti-competitive, calling it a pay-for-delay scheme that harmed consumers by keeping the drug prices very high. This is the legal and regulatory framework. This case falls under the Hatch-Waxman Act, passed in 1984. The act was designed to encourage generic drug competition while still protecting patents, so companies could recover their R&D investments. In this system, when a generic company challenges a patent, it can trigger a lawsuit which delays FDA approval. What happened here was a reverse payment settlement. So we paid Watson and Paddock, which is the opposite of what usually happens. The FTC argued that this went against the intent of the law. What were the market impacts and consequences? The financial impact of this agreement was huge. Androgel was generating over $400 million a year for Solvay. They estimated they would have lost about $125 million annually if the generic brands launched. Watson and Paddock projected that the price of the generic Androgel would be lower to about 85%. The delay meant consumer had to pay higher prices for a longer period of time. The FTC and the state of California claimed this hurt competition and cost consumers billions. Solvay justified the deal as a standard legal settlement. Lastly, what was the legal outcome and the implications? The case went through multiple courts. Initially, the lower court sided with Solvay, saying that the settlement were legal because they occurred during a valid patent dispute. But the FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission, appealed it, and the case reached the U.S. Supreme Court. The outcome of this case was critical because it shaped how future pay-for-delay cases work and how they would be handled. It raised important questions about balancing patent rights with consumer access to affordable medicine and how far pharmaceutical companies can go to protect their profits, basically. This was my presentation. Thanks so much.